Good afternoon, everyone. Russell Wright and Sue Bell from Network Empire Director's Cut and Project Breakthrough. So glad to see each and every one of you coming into this room. We have a flood of people coming in even on the afternoons. I'm really glad to see that you guys could make it. You're really a dedicated bunch of people, teammates, and I'm really excited about this. Jimmy is not here yet. I think he's gone to get caffeine, which of course is a vital micronutrient for all webheads and netrepreneurs. Is netrepreneurs a word? It is
It is.
now. Put that on the wiki. Put that on the wiki, quick.
It,
Okay.
caffeine is not a micronutrient.
According to Dr. Ray Peat, it is, who did the research in the lab at the University of Oregon in 1998. However, he may be wrong. He may be
It's got to
wrong.
be one of the main food groups, in my opinion.
Right?
Oh, you guys
Yeah.
are saying it's a food group. It's not merely a micronutrient. Gotcha. Interesting. Okay.
We had the pyramid all wrong.
We had it all wrong. So it's caffeine is foundational?
I would.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Gotcha. All right. I'm going to remove it from my micronutrient category and slide it over to the main food group category in the main food group silo structure in my brain. All right, everybody. We have about 80 of you so far. Okay, it's a real flood of people. Add stout to the mix too. Oh, definitely. Paul, do you like stout?
Hmm.
Stout as a food group. I can neither confirm nor deny if I have one of those every lunch. I love stout. I love super dark beer. I'm not into the light stuff. I like the dark milk stout. I had a microbrew here in the Scottsdale area the other day. It was a super dark called milk dark stout or double dark stout. All right. Hi, Heidi. It's good to see you. Cece, it's good to see you. We have some of our regulars, and I also see some new faces here. Let's see what we got. David Keys, good to see you. Now, we had some success last week. Let me go ahead and make this screen a little bit larger here until Jimmy takes over. I might have to end up getting out of his way because I think he's in a mood. Are you in a mood today? Are you in the mood to grab the bull by the horn, or how are you feeling?
I'm still working on taking my meds, so give me a couple of minutes.
Okay. All right, gotcha. That sounds great. And if you have extra meds, be sure to pass them around.
Right?
Because Jimmy's meds are not like other people's meds. So here we go. We're going to talk about various things today, and these are going to be, we're going to answer the questions. And here's the thing that we did last week that was really good. We oscillated back and forth from the questions that are here. You can see Sue Bell's things hovered over here. I'll get up there with her. Here's Don's question. Don always has great questions. And what we'll do is if any of you do have a microphone and the courage to speak on the microphone, we have been given an overall vote by the community that they really like the personableness of the microphone, as long as they don't get their questions forgotten on the matrix or the office hours grid. So what we've been doing is going back and forth, and we won't skip your question if you're not on mic, but if you are here, raise your hand in the questions area, and we will turn you on and we can talk specifically. I found, and Jimmy agrees after we talked afterwards, that it is really personable and we can get into the nuance of your specific questions, because one of the things that we experience in our now over 15 Skype groups for our advanced certification level training in our close community quarters that we have inside our Skype area, there's pretty much a Skype group for every training that we have and every advanced training and basic training and software bundle we have, is that when people ask general questions in an area like that, a lot of the times people who are listening have different cases and their own unique business fingerprint. And as a result, we can't always answer these general questions, especially when it comes to things like domain authority stacking. You know, like we get sometimes general questions. Can I do this, and this? Can I stack my grandmother's website underneath my uncle's directory and put an RSS feed through it, and then Hootsuite to 27,000 Twitter accounts automatically through my bookmarklet, and then run it through Social Explosion? Okay, when you ask questions like that, what happens is we don't know what to say because it depends. And so what we have with the open mic and the ability for Jimmy or Sue or I to speak with you is we can look at your specific case. Okay. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to rotate back and forth. And can I just have a 1 to make sure that each and every one of you can hear me? And you should have heard Sue and Jimmy as well. Okay. Wow, I have very strange birds outside my window doing mating calls, which it's either
Well, this could get interesting.
It's either disturbing or interesting. I'm going to default on the side of interesting, but that's just me. Jimmy, that's just you. You're messing me with again. Okay. I thought maybe that's on your side of things. Okay. You guys can all hear. Heidi, I was thinking the same thing. That's cute.
They may have. I'm trying a new mixture right now, so we'll see.
Fun with chemicals. Fun with neurochemicals. That's our motto.
It says something 2.0, and I mixed it with Provigil, so we'll see.
Okay. Limitless smart pills. Yes, that's us. And we need them. Paul is saying even birds need love. Eric is saying, lots of fun. Can I come over? Kyle is saying, hear them too. Heidi hears everybody. Okay. Hey, Dave Keys, who got on with us I think it was last time, asks great questions, and he's been dumping these monster questions right in the answer area because I want you guys to know, I'm going to go over here really quick to this amazing website that Sue Bell specifically had her team create for the question answering. So just remember, if you go to www.omgsoftware.com and you click on the questions for the webinars, there's this lovely type form that you can answer. You say, yes, I have a question. And you got to fill it out. David Keys. Just wanted to make sure you knew about that. And if you've already filled it out, David, that's all right. I'll try to grab some of your items. That just does help us narrow things down a little bit. Another thing I wanted to approach each and every one of you with, I have been getting hammered on Skype while Jimmy and Sue do all the advanced spec creating. They've been working on some evil killer things for traffichospital.com software. One of the things I wanted to point out is we are in a major move. So I know that some of you have pinged me on the movement from Network Empire as we move some of our things around to the much, much faster server. And you may have had some difficulty, for example, if you purchase the Pro bundle, which is all a part of the sellreportsfirst.com training. You have to have, you really need the Pro bundle if you're going to be involved in that training. But we'll get more into the details of what you need with that. This is now working, but you probably want to refresh your browser to make sure. Okay, you guys do get a discount. And in order to compensate for the Sell Reports Now training, we had to raise the price slightly to make sure that we can pay for the people creating that course, Mike Clay and others. So we do have a price raise on that, and you still get a discount from the new price that's been established. I apologize for inconvenience on the link stuff, but that's just par for the course when we're upgrading our servers. You guys have been hammering the crap out of our website, and we needed to put it onto a whole new level of speed. Okay, so let's jump right in. We'll just start in. And Dawn, you said you don't have any courage. Why not? Where are you? I want to talk to you. Let's turn it on. Dawn, where are you? Can you explain what the difference is between a PBN and your WRO2 site that we own? Seems like the same thing. Okay. Where are you, Dawn? Step right up. Uh-oh. I think he's lost his courage. That's all right. Do we want to jump into that, Jimmy, Sue?
Well, I would say there's a difference between them. I mean, we theme and categorize our WR2s. You can certainly do that on a PBN. But I'd say the biggest difference is we start with new domains on ours, whereas typically a PBN, you're left holding the bag with the metrics that you bought.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kind of form and mold the metrics that we need on the WR1 to fit, what we're trying to rank for. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference between the PBN and the WR2.
Gotcha. And does that make sense to you, Don? And Jimmy specifically talking about the link metrics. One of the factors I would say is that when you purchase when I'm translating, Jimmy, you jump in and slap me around if I'm not understanding you. You have a lot more possibility of weird backlinks if you buy a used domain. That doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means you kind of got to know what you're doing, right? Like we talked last week. I think we lost
You
you.
passing that back to me?
Yeah, no, I'm literally asking you. I'm asking you a question. Is what you just said is that PBNs generally have more backlinks to deal with when you purchase them? Is that what you're saying, or did I misunderstand that?
No, that's correct.
Okay.
Because I mean, generally, because Google's looking all the way back to tier 3. I mean, it's not like you're picking it up and you just got to deal with tier 1. Like you got to go back and look at tier 2, and you got to look at the tier 3, and all of that just to purchase one property. I mean, to
Understood.
make sure it's absolutely legit. So,
Hmm.
I just, for me, I'm lazy, so I just like to create the metrics that I need. Like why, I don't want the extra work and the headache from it personally. So,
Gotcha. Okay. That's a great. Don, is that a good answer? Okay. I hear David saying, "Do you jump through all the hoops to hide your WR2 like we do with PBNs?" I think David's question kind of relates to this question.
well, there's many ways that we can manipulate the metrics,
Hmm. Yeah,
much
exactly.
of which we do cover at certification.
Yeah. You're getting
Um,
into some pretty advanced questions there, David, or Dave. I'm not sure how deeply we can get into the security behind that. Also, not necessarily because of big secrets or whatever, or there are some, but also if there's any confusion at all, and we can't sit there and talk to you about it, I just noticed that people tend to get confused. That's one of my answers. David's saying, yeah, I got that for sure. It's not like a simple answer. Okay, cool. Can we move on to the next one, Jimmy?
Sure.
Okay.
So Matt says, when building silos, doesn't the navigation bar weaken the power of each silo? I'm thinking the PR way. Hope this is right. And this is definitely doing something, isn't it? Unless Google applies a different weight/power to navigation links. Okay, sorry if this has been asked before, or if I'm overthinking it, or if the weather is bad today. Um, Sue can answer this one if she's on still. Is Sue around?
I don't know. I think she's around doing different things in her place. Um,
I
doesn't,
was
does,
just asking, what's the question?
the question is more about navigation bar weakening the power of each silo. There's been a lot of buzz recently about the drop-down menus. Like people are all freaked out about the drop-down menus because of your position on it.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that position about drop downs are less favorable than what you like to do?
Yeah. Well, so the bad thing about a drop-down is that it means every single page is going to link to every single other page. So the idea behind a silo structure is that you have a group of thematically related pages that link to each other. And then you have another group of thematically related pages that link to each other. But those two groups don't link to each other. They're two separate silos.
Hmm.
So when you have a drop-down menu where everything links to everything, you completely undo that silo structure. You
Gotcha.
negate the silo structure.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just, what that means is, like, let's say that one of your silos is about chocolate and the other one's about peanut butter, which always makes everybody want to go out and buy a Reese's peanut butter cup. We really ought to invest in that stock someday. Anyway, so
Understood.
you've got all your peanut butter pages linked together, and then you've got all your chocolate pages linked together. And so Google will come along and look at those chocolate pages and go, hey, wow, this is about chocolate. Look, there's a whole little eddy of pages here that isn't linked to anything other than chocolate pages, and other chocolate pages are linked to them. So clearly this is all about chocolate. So you establish that chocolate theme on site, and that means that it takes fewer inbound links to establish that chocolate theme.
Gotcha.
So, so if you have a drop-down menu bar where on every single peanut butter page you're also linking to all of your chocolate pages, and on every single one of your chocolate pages you're linking to all of your peanut butter pages, then what the heck are you talking about? Are you talking about chocolate? Are you talking about peanut butter? Are you talking about Reese's peanut butter cups? What?
But David Hood prefers to talk about strawberries, he says in the question screen. So
All
what
right.
about strawberries then, Sue?
Well, all right.
I'm just messing with you.
So it's okay to have chocolate with strawberries, but don't have peanut butter with strawberries.
What if I'm the kind of person who likes to put bananas and strawberries on my peanut butter, and I want to mix all my link juice together just because I want to create an entirely new meme or keyword on the search engine that's a really weird long tail? Then can I
You
not?
you will rank for a keyword which has no search.
Damn it. Okay, so excellent. That's a great question. Well, you guys have a lot of questions coming down the screen, and Heidi's making smarty-pantsy remarks, of course, as usual. I'm not going to read all of them. Let's see. I will read them sometime, Heidi. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one's for Jimmy. Okay, Jimmy,
Yes.
get off that porn site, man.
All right, I'll pause.
All right. You said that when less links point to a website, then the trust is higher. Then why give sites that have DA 50 with thousands of links pointing to them so much trust?
Well, I mean, you got to think of it as like an average. Typically, when I refer to do less links, particularly in the DAS stack, it's because we're trying to manipulate that trust.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think of it from, there's certainly going to be ones out in the wild that have that trust factor there. And the trust factor is based off of the 4 hops away, right? So that study that's done by Stanford, if you go back and look, you're going to go 4 back, and those are considered like 97 or 98% spam from a trusted seed site or, a seed set.
Okay.
So you can have an average where your trust is pushed higher than normal, but it just really depends on the links they use. When I mean go by less links, it's just easier to keep that trust up because you're not dealing with as many domains to try and keep track of the 4-hop rule. So.
Gotcha. Does that make any sense, Leo? Leo, are you here? Pick up the phone, man. Pick it up. Pick it up. No, he's not here. Okay. Paula is saying you guys seem to have missed a whole week worth of questions. Sue, is that true?
Heck yeah, we did.
Did we?
Just kidding. I don't know.
I don't think we did.
You guys get to the bottom of the question list last time? I left you alone with the question list.
Well, we answered them.
Well, then, this is this week's questions.
Paula,
Last 2 weeks worth of questions.
Oh, I don't. Did we get? I thought we got to the bottom of last. We answered like 1,900 for Paula. I had at least 7 questions I answered to yours, Paula. So I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. If there's a specific question that we missed, can you please type it in the screen and I'll go back because I don't want you to beat me up later. Paula gets her questions answered. She's tenacious.
I gave her one of my whips.
Jeez, Louise. I hope you don't pull her on staff because I just haven't getting enough whips these days. Okay, good. So when using video silo, is it necessary to add contextual links from posts or pages up to the top of the silo, or is that done automatically within the plugin? Thank you. Okay. That is, when you say contextual links, I'm not 100% sure what you mean, Paul. If you're going to write content on the page, of course you're going to have to hyperlink, but the silo plugin is it creates the silos for you automatically by use of the menu bar. We also do have an excerpt that you can use. Okay, and I'll let Jimmy or Sue speak to the excerpt functionality. I think.
He's talking about links inside the text.
I know, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
If he wants to write content, he's going to have to, obviously you're going to have to hyperlink. We don't auto add links within the context like some of the other software plugins out there that do that. By the way, that's a very controversial practice because you can't really control the keyword density and the link density inside the content. There are plugins out there that do it, which I won't mention here. I do use them in certain circumstances. I've also actually completely blown my rankings using one of those once because I turned it on after I had like 1,000 articles, and then it tried to find every keyword inside the content, and then whoops. So just be careful with stuff like that. But to answer your question, Paul, no, we don't. You're going to have to manually link, and that's for your benefit, manually link any contextual links that you have in there. And Jimmy's got a lot of good stuff about how to link in context as well. Is that a good enough answer, Paul? Are you there? Okay, good. Let's move on to the next one. David Hood, the man. Does disavowing spamming links point directly at a money site help with trust flow, citation flow issues? Same question, different way. Can no follow links hurt trust flow? I have a client who got massive negative SEO'd. Okay, David, did you take our traffichospital.com course yet? I think you did, actually. Yes, you're in there. Okay, I didn't quite get that there. What do you say, Jimmy?
Well, basically, you just got to consider anything you're doing in disavow would be considered a no follow. So it's not going to hurt against you or for you. You know, like when we look at trust flow metrics, those are based off of a third-party platform. And while it's pretty accurate as much as you can, like they're still going to count the trust flow, but you don't, you know, it'd be like, it's kind of like doing a reset and setting that to 0. So it's not going to harm or hurt you. So it's not going to affect the difference in the trust flow that you get. Typically, when you do a disavow and you're successful with it, you'll bounce right back up to where you are. So I have a feeling that it just kind of neutralizes any negative effects to it. So while you're looking on the third-party platform, your trust metrics might be lower or skewed based off all the spam stuff that they sent.
Mm-hmm.
But once you reset that back to 0, it should be back to, you know, roughly where it was before it got hammered.
Does that make sense, David? You want me to bring you on the line? Do you have a phone? Do you have a headset? Or any other things like that? You do? Not sure if it works. Oh, here, you're unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can definitely hear you. Hey, man.
How's it going?
Hey, I haven't talked to you since we had dinner at the OMG Live thingy.
That's correct.
Okay, cool. So does that answer your question with this client that you got messed up in SEO'd?
Yeah, I believe it does because it seems like no-follow links do help with build trust flow. So I was worried about potentially hurting the trust flow even after disavowing. So there's more than just no-follow that goes along with the disavow process. Jimmy, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know exactly what it does, but the fact that I've seen just rankings come back over and over again, it just makes me think that it takes away all the negative portion of whatever that link was doing.
That's great.
So
Yeah, I mean,
there's no way to know without actually working at Google. So
yeah.
Right, I understand. Yeah.
Does anybody here work at Google? Anybody on the call?
Is Matt Cutts in the audience?
Matt.
John
Okay,
Mueller?
Tom Mueller, exactly. I wouldn't be that surprised. Okay, so what metrics do you guys use to gauge? This is also David. You can stay on the line because this is yours too. What metrics do you guys use to gauge the competition of a keyword? What metrics do you guys use to gauge? Well, that's
Generally, what I look for is DA.
yeah.
Like, at a quick glance, I'm just looking at DA, and then I'm looking at how much relevant content are you going up against, because, you know, it's a big difference. Like, if there's an Amazon product up on there, and, you know, it's just one page for Amazon for that particular product, it's like, you know, you could come in with a very themed site to overtake that keyword, even though you'll end up with a lower DA than that big, you know, big DA site. So usually that's what I look at. After the first glance, if I see that there's other SEO people in there, then I just start going in and taking a look at their links and seeing, you know, okay, what they use to get their rankings, you know, how clean were they, and stuff like that. So I'd look at links second. But DA is usually my first overview.
You would go in and look at the links of the top people on the first page,
Yes.
top relevant
Yes.
IDA properties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
same.
so anyone on page 1. I don't worry so much about 7 and below, but 7 and above is usually what I'm comparing.
And do you look at the links of the links for them as well? How deep do you go?
I usually just look at tier 1 because, I mean, you guys know, I mean, you can manipulate your metrics from most of the stuff that you learned in the DAS stuff so far. So basically what I'm just looking at is like what type of links do they build? You know, are there competitor links I can go and grab and replicate if they're good? If not, I'll have to go and build those. And then I know that it doesn't take as many links as probably what they built to get there anyway. So I don't usually let it discourage me, but I just like to see how active they are. Are they building regularly? How involved is that SEO with that keyword?
Awesome,
So
that's great stuff.
mostly just looking for an actual SEO competitor
Yeah.
for that keyword.
And we're making similar recommendations with the DWS, any silo builder software, where we're recommending how deep your silos need to be and how many articles you need to rank and stuff. We come from the same perspective. And, you know, so that's, you guys have seen, you know, when you look at a competitive term and like the top 5 or 6 sites are like one page with like a small snippet of content. Well, the domain authority on those sites are massive. Jimmy has shown me, and Sue both shown me a ton of cases where the site is so themed and so has such authority that it's just ranking for pretty competitive terms with almost no content. I mean, I see this all the time. So that's what you're really looking for, that Jimmy's talking about, the DA. I mean, I've seen shocking stuff that he's shown me on where it's ranked for that. I think it was in the jewelry market where, someone's ranked for I don't have the exact sample here, where like Etsy or something, it's got like one listing with like 5 words on it. And it's ranked for like a massive, the competitive term. This is because that.
It's like a jeweler keyword.
Yeah, remember that one? Because it's like so well themed. It's just interesting. That makes sense, you guys? Okay. David, is that good? Do you have any other questions while we're here? All right, we probably should get everybody
That's
later.
awesome. That's more than good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm going to mute you. I hate to do it, but I'm going to mute you. Okay. Let's see. Okay, where is he? I still got to learn to use this. Okay, next question. I haven't muted you yet, David. So don't be screaming and saying bad things about me. Just kidding. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's muted down. Okay. Patrick, are you here? Can you reblog on your sites? Oh my gosh. Can you explain? Oh, jeez. Can you reblog on your site's blog page? 1, would it be considered duped content? 2, would it hurt the rankings? 3, would Social Explosion pick it up? On your site's blog page? Can you reblog? What do you mean? Patrick, where are you? Oh, here you are. Okay, because I don't understand the question. Let me find you. And Patrick, last name.
He's talking about taking pages and putting the content on posts.
Okay, Patrick, do you have a mic? Okay, you're unmuted. Oops. You're unmuted, Patrick. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, geez.
Good afternoon. Where are you calling from?
Oh, well, I'm sitting in front of a lake watching 3 eagles soar by in Washington.
Oh, fantastic. That is awesome. I love eagles.
Yeah, and 2 red-tailed hawks.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Washington State's beautiful. Really.
Are you barbecuing right now?
Actually, I did some sockeye salmon a couple of days ago from Alaska. So.
Oh, nice. Where in Washington are you?
Between Seattle and the border, a Canadian border, up in Mount Vernon area.
Okay. You're not in the islands then?
No,
okay.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
It's nothing
I know.
better than fresh salmon.
Oh, I love it.
In sockeye salmon.
Sockeye, it's even better.
Yeah.
Nice, Patrick.
I'll send you some down next time I get it.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Don't make promises you can't keep, man, because we will hold you to it.
Oh yeah, no, I can keep them.
I'm messing with you, man. Totally messing with you. So just to clarify, I think Sue kind of grabbed what you were talking about. What do you mean with this?
Yeah, exactly. If I take a blog from somewhere, either one that I've done or somewhere else, put it on my blog page on my site, is it considered duped content? Would it hurt the rankings? And would Social Explosion pick it up?
So I think as long as that, I think on the Social Explosion side, anytime it's a new blog post or anything you submit, I think it would pick it up and do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like duped content, yeah, it would be considered duped content, and it can hurt the rankings. I mean, I've seen, it depends on how big your site is, and also if there's links in there with the content. So it's like basically the same kind of content with the same links and everything in it. Too many of those will mark you up against getting like a panda slap. And you'll see it go a lot faster if you don't have very much content on the site.
Okay.
So
what about if I put it on a subdomain?
Same thing. Like you want to have unique content. Basically, is just that those words are not found in that order anywhere else on the web.
Exactly. And, I've done plenty of tests, as our staff and team will tell you, on reblogging entire pages. It worked a lot better a few years back. You just definitely don't just follow Jimmy's instructions on that. If you're going to do something called content curation, remember that content, which I do cover tomorrow in tomorrow's Tech 2. Jimmy and I both are covering that actually tomorrow on our certification level training. And he's taught me a lot about how to really make sure that my content curation is better than it was that I even taught in 2013. You got to make sure that you add additional content. Quotations used to work. Jimmy then later told me that quotations are no longer going to protect you. So just make sure that when you quote or curate another blog, including yourself, because you're just really curating yourself at that point. And
I still put the blog quotes in, even though they say it's deprecated.
Yes, exactly. You told me that, Jimmy. Yeah, and I did notice, Jimmy, I never got to talk to you about that, but I think I tested that, and it definitely helped.
And Twitter's doing that as well. So I figure if a platform like Twitter's doing it and getting away with it, then we should be fine using it.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the heavy-duty plugins out there that are tout being curation plugins, they're still using the block quote format for WordPress, and I've tested about 7 of those types of plugins out there. And whenever I follow Jimmy's instructions on quoting them, the post does better. Now, I always add, just like my friend Guillaume, who owns scoopit.com. If you look at scoopit.com, which we teach a lot about in our curation training, our certification level training, he started adding what do you have to say about this? He calls it insights. When you're quoting somebody else, including yourself, add unique content in, obviously for the SEO purposes that Jimmy was just mentioning, and tell them why you're saying it. Give an opinion about why you're re-scooping or reposting yourself, and that does a really, really good job of adding unique twist instead of having, like, at one point I added pretty much the same article across 3 or 4 of our sites in our company, and it's just better. I got such better results when I followed the keyword and unique content entries that Jimmy just mentioned. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, what it really makes sense is I'm just going to make unique content.
Yeah. And it's again, we get into all kinds of variations of how you can use that, but it's always better to do. I like, for example, to do. I personally like to do transcriptions. In some places, not everywhere, obviously. There's all kinds of things that you can do there. The other thing I'd like to say is that Social Explosion will pick it up as long as you've got Social Explosion installed.
Right. Yeah, which I finally got working, and it's great, and that's why I'm getting more into the blogging. I never used to. Good.
But, the current version of Social Explosion does not automatically do pages. That's a different topic. So you do that with your RSS feeds, and pretty soon we have this awesome dashboard that Sue has everybody beta testing right now. Cool. We're going to give you guys more announcements on. Does it make sense? Did we cover your question?
Yeah, no, that's great. That's perfect.
Patrick, it's been awesome meeting you, and we hope to speak to you again.
Yeah. Hey, can I interject one other question that I put down farther?
Sure. Oh, is it further down? Sure.
Yeah.
Why don't you grab it now?
Just before, it has to do with a site, a client site that has been had 86,000 bad links to it. We went and disavowed a few hundred of them, but it's still just not doing anything. I've been banging away at it for a couple of years or a couple of months, a number of months, and I just don't know. I put it in right before, well, actually right after the started, the Webby started. So I don't know if I got on to.
Oh, you mean on the chat question area?
Well, the chat question, and I also put it in the question spreadsheet.
That's probably still sitting in the repository. I don't think I'm not seeing more than 13 questions on this week's office hours. I'm not sure why.
Okay, because I don't know what to do. We've disavowed and it's just sitting there, and it's kind of still moving. I mean, where some of the pages are moving up, and but the keywords, I'm just stuck on what to do.
Okay, that's kind of a super specific question, and we really couldn't get into that unless we knew more specifically. We'd have to probably look at the site. Is that what you're asking for, as an audit?
Well, if it's okay. I mean, if not, if this isn't the right time or platform, that's fine.
I'm not sure. Why don't you dump the link into the questions area again, because I'm not really seeing it.
Okay. Can I put it in the chat box or?
Yeah, really that's up to Jimmy and what kind of mood he's in, to be honest. So
Yeah, I'll run some reports on it while we're
Okay.
waiting. I never know how long they take, though, but I'll start.
yeah, we can definitely start. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say is sockeye salmon.
Now we're really gonna hold you to it.
No, you know what? If you guys send me your addresses, my son lives up there and he dip nets 35 salmon a year.
Wow,
And
interesting.
He empties out every time I visit, he empties out his freezer.
Grabbing my address. That's really good.
Yeah, no, I'll send it out to you. It's pretty good.
We're awesome.
There's such a huge difference in taste between getting something that you caught versus the stuff you have in restaurants.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, eat this and you'll be ruined.
Yeah, because I noticed like I had a salmon sandwich yesterday at a fairly decent restaurant here, and it was farmed salmon.
Oh.
It's just not. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It's.
Oh, I know. No, that's like negative SEO.
Forget about it.
That's
and then one of my friends is all freaked out about GMOs, so of course I got an earful for that for an hour. By the time I was done, I wish I'd never eat anything again in my life. Okay, so good. All right, so we got that running. I'm going to go ahead and mute you.
This sounds great.
And we'll keep it running because I'm still learning how to use this mute function. And I appreciate that, and we have a lot of fun, Patrick. Let's move on to the next person. Okay, Andy, are you with us? Okay, this is a question that I need to go ahead and give you all a help file for. When using TLKT, I have found for some keywords there are search volume numbers, for example, 20 searches per day. However, there are no click-through results for the same keyword. Why is that? And I would have thought there would be some click-throughs per day. Also, this lessens the value of the keyword as a good word to try to rank for. Thanks. Okay, that's an excellent question. Now, first thing I want to say is that sometimes TLKT doesn't work because it's out of commission or something, and that's what we have the help desk for. The other answer, and of course, Sue, feel free to step in at any time, is that we actually tally keywords. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually going to speak to his question, Sue. That's why I'm being cautious here. First of all, let me ask you this. The example of 20 searches per day, are you talking about the paid search volume or the natural search volume? That's the main thing I would want to know first.
He's talking about natural search because he's saying there's no clicks, but there's natural search.
Okay.
20 searches a day, but there's no clicks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, do you have a comment on that?
Because some keywords are simply either the click-through is so low that it doesn't register.
Exactly.
Or, the ad click-through is so low that it doesn't register. Or it's a keyword that's nobody's bid on in a very long time, over 12 months, so they no longer have any stats on it. I think those are the two cases. Either it's just simply possible a keyword that's popular for the ads, or nobody's run an ad in a long time for that particular keyword.
And Andy, I think you went to the help desk, didn't you? And I wanted to make sure that you actually read this. This is a little bit different, but this is also useful. It's kind of relevant to everybody. Why does my browser competing pages conflict with TLKT competing pages? This is a different topic, but indirectly related. Did you ever get a chance to look at this, Andy? Okay, Andy's actually given me his keyword privately. Yeah, that's an educational keyword. Was there any pay-per-click on that at all, Andy? Let me just go ahead and give you guys this. This is a great video that Sue did explaining how bad the data is for Google's pages on your browser and why. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat for everybody because it's kind of amusing. Don't get her started on that one. Okay, here's the entire.
Oh, did you want me to talk about how accurate Google's data? That's a whole.
At the habo, another level. Okay. But Andy, I am kind of curious. I'm going to grab that keyword that sounds like something where, keep in mind that the way that we pull data, the reason I bring this up is because this explains how we pull the keyword data differently than anybody else in the industry. And it's actually very, very interesting. I remember back in the day, I begged Sue to pull data just like everybody else. And she was like, no. And now I'm so glad she didn't listen to me. So what we do when we actually take a keyword, you guys and gals, is that we set our estimation through to one. I'm willing to bid the maximum bid. I'm willing to bid $100 per click. What that does is it completely tends to expose them. It makes them less dishonest than they normally are with the other key. Did I say that? Less dishonest than, wow. It makes them less dishonest than they normally are because you're willing to bid more. So they're a little bit more forthcoming with the amount of traffic within that context, rather than just trying to stuff your keyword themes full of, increase your bids per day on different words. In other words, Google makes money through pay-per-click. You guys know that. So the data that they give is a little bit different based on how much you're bidding on the keyword term. You guys get that? And if you read that little document, it's kind of fun. You'll have this light bulb moment where the penny will drop and go, oh, that's cool the way Sue decided to pull keyword data, because it's actually more accurate in how valuable the keyword is. So I just wanted you guys to take a look at that, okay? Give me a 1 if that made sense, or if I'm just kind of not making sense. Give me a 1. David Keys gets it. Paul gets it. Christina gets it. Oh, wow, lots of 1s. You guys rock. Thank you. I thought I was fumbling there. Okay, cool. Let's go back to, okay. We're moving the server. We're moving the server. You guys are going to love how fast this new server is. It's so awesome. David Keys is like 0, search my app. Okay. Andy Heap says this keyword has 12.82 searches per day and only 1.09 click-through. Bid is $682. Bid is 600 and I can't, Andy, I can't really do this. Let's try it in the Skype group. You guys know that we have huge, awesome Skype groups. We have, who is not in the hybrid Skype room for Director's Cut, Project Breakthrough, and Network Empire? We've spliced our DNA into a Skype room. And if you guys want to get added, all you have to do is contact me on Skype. And my handler is ThemeZoom. And I'm going to go ahead and drop that to y'all. Boom. That's all you got to do is you got to ask me. And I will drag and drop you into our warm, little, cozy coffee chat, fireside, chatty room where we can talk about crazy stuff like this, okay? Oh, you guys are doing that right now. Okay. Down. Everybody back. Okay. Talk about instantaneous reaction. All right, let's see. Jimmy! I think I lost my place. What were we doing again, you guys? We were on the... oh, I'm lost.
We were on one of the questions, but I don't remember.
What's that? Oh, here we are. I was on the wrong. Okay, good. There we go. Okay, Andy, we're going to pass that one. Great question, Andy. I'm also always into the data because we've had to tweak the data in different ways. So thank you for that excellent question. George, George O'Brien, I'm not even going to repeat that, but I can just say that you're a very naughty boy. Okay, let's see. No, you're actually right. He's actually right. He's making sure that I know the difference between a handler and a handle. And he's saying that Sue is my handler and ThemeZoom is my handle. What George doesn't know is that somewhere along the line, I'm going to get back at him and when he least expects it. Okay, Eric. Eric is saying, Sue, are you adding questions while I'm... Oh, okay, no, you didn't. I thought you did. Okay, I built a... What's that, Sue?
I will if you want me to.
Well, I'm wondering why there's no more... This is a very few questions, and then Paula was saying...
I think it's because, I'm honestly, like I just went in a few minutes ago and grabbed all the questions, and there weren't too many, and I just assumed that it was because you were doing the, you'd started taking people live, and so it had changed the number of people who had...
No, there's there's questions missing. Like, for example, Patrick said that there was a second question he has, but I'm not seeing it even on the spreadsheet, and I don't think I'm the spreadsheet adder person. So I think we're missing some questions, quite a few actually. Yeah, I'm a little creeped out about that because I've got two people telling me their question is not here. Okay, but let's keep going until we figure it out. Hi guys, you are all hammering me on Skype. It's awesome. My Skype is quaking. I built a local service, Eric. I built a local service lead gen site using vSilo recently. It covers Maine, Metro City, and 4 suburbs, with each locality having the same sub-service offered underneath it in the silo structure. My question is, aside from the menu on the right side of the site, which I believe vSilo built, there is also a header menu. When hovered over, it becomes a drop-down menu revealing the services. Sub-pages below each menu silo locality page. Should I disable this drop-down menu aspect in the header menu because of its draining of link juice or some other negative aspects? Thank you. Eric, I think we covered that a little bit at the beginning of today's conversation. It's a couple of different processes. You heard Sue, I hope, speak to that. Eric, are you here? Okay. He says yes. Well, removing the top menu, we talked about restore the correct balance. When you're talking about SEO, when Sue was speaking about this, she's talking specifically about an SEO, the SEO functionality. Okay, and Sue, I have a question for you, and perhaps Jimmy. Are you still here?
I'm here.
Okay, I guess not.
I am. I found some questions. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome, thanks. Sue, is there any technology that allows people to use the VEO, the Visitor Enhanced Optimization, intact with dropdowns? Although, by the way, I'm not real fond of dropdown menus as a user. Is there any way? Do you think there's a technology intact that does not bleed juice that people can use, or is it better to just get rid of it? I mean, does it depend, or are you always doing that in every case? Because I'm specifically thinking of the case we did for the massively large client on the Magento platform.
Yeah, so it is possible to obfuscate your links,
right,
so that Google recognize them. Just because they don't recognize them today doesn't mean that they won't recognize them tomorrow. But
right,
you can code and
they could crawl, yeah.
So the thing that I would say, what I always default to, is take a look at Amazon. Because Amazon makes a bunch of money, and so they have a bunch of money to invest in user interface, right? So if you look at what they actually display on a page, when you're on a particular product, they want to show you ideas around that product, right? So if you look at what's in the actual menu over on the left-hand side, it's actually subtopics of what it is that you're currently looking at. So let's say that you're looking at DVD players. Do they still make DVD players? Anyway, I don't want to sound too outdated, but laptops. Let's say that you're looking at laptops, and you're are you actually bringing this up? Because I'm looking at the answers all the time.
I can bring it up, but I gotta log out of my Amazon account. Hang on.
I understand. It's fine. It's cool. You don't have to. So when you look at something like laptops, it's going to show you over on the left-hand side different kinds of laptops, like related concepts. And of course, because they've got so many laptops, they can show you different ideas. They've got plenty of different products to choose from. But then also down below, they're going to show you people who bought this also bought that. Right? So, perfect. All right. So you've got laptops. So take a look. Up at the top is where they've got their most generic things. So you can see show results for all categories. So it gives you the opportunity to go right back to the top of the site and take a look at all of their silos, right? So you can see all categories. You can see, now stay on that page for a second, sorry.
Okay, no worries, I'll go back.
Aside from the top of the silo, you can see electronics, which is what laptops is contained in, but electronics is like the Uber category, and the subcategory of electronics is computers and accessories, right? So you can see how they step that down. They don't overwhelm you with options. And then as you come further down the list, you get the opportunity to refine what it is you're looking at, because they've got so many laptops. They give you laptops, ultrabooks, yada yada, 17 inches, 19 inches, 13 inches, different particular qualities of laptops. so they don't inundate you with every single category, even on the site, on every page. And then once you're on a particular page, like select one of these laptops for a minute, let's just take a look inside.
Okay, not a Toshiba. I just can't.
All right.
How about, okay, let's go. I hate Apple too, but there you go. All right.
All right, so now take a look at what's up at the top. You've got computers, you've got brands, you've got bestsellers, you've got laptops and tables. You're still inside of the computer and laptop category, right? And
Right.
you've got a bunch of things over on the other side. You've got gaming, PC gaming, and you've got all electronics, which is the top of the silo again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you click Shop by Department, that's a little down arrow, and if you click that at any point, it'll bring you, this is in the upper left-hand side, it'll bring you all of the major categories up a little higher. A little higher.
I'm completely overwhelmed, and now I'm just, my brain's mush.
In black at the top left, right underneath Amazon.
Okay, I see it. Shop by departments. Oh, there's a drop down.
Yeah, there is a drop down, and it's their most common top level themes,
Mm-hmm.
along with the subs in this particular category.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at that and I'm like, hey, wow, that's a silo structure, right? And it's not overwhelming. Even these guys, when you go to their, click for a second on full store directory down at the bottom of that, which is going to take you to their
I'm sorry, go to where? Oh, full store.
full store.
Do I click
So
on
this
it?
is going to show you all, yeah, this shows you all of their silos.
Okay.
It shows you all of the level themes, and it shows you all of their subcategories. And you are never overwhelmed with that unless you specifically ask for it.
Okay.
And this is not every page on their site, clearly, because that would be absolutely untenable.
Gotcha.
This is simply their themes. So I look at that, and I take a page from that, and I'm like, okay, when I'm looking at a particular product on an e-commerce site, I want to look at other related products. I want to look at other things that shoppers bought when they bought this product, because a lot of times you get a tangent concept, right? Like you bought a monitor, and now you need a cable.
Okay.
Well, okay, so there's these add-on side sells and upsells, right? So you get those in the other products. People who bought this also bought this.
Yeah.
And you also get the better together, things that are commonly bought together, which is the most common side sell. And then they've started to offer things, related concepts that are on other people's sites. So that if you're not finding what you're wanting on Amazon, they give you the opportunity to go elsewhere and get a small commission off of that, because no matter what, they want to offer you what it is that you're looking for. So I find that whole thing, that whole experience interesting. Like I've really sat and thought a lot about this in terms of how they constructed their e-commerce and what they've done with their silos. Because Amazon just ranks for anything they want to rank for, right? Like the domain authority is huge because they have so many pages, but it's also there because they've clumped their themes together really, really well.
Yeah. I mean, they've got.
Put in your product. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they've got other problems other than worrying about ranking their users. They have to make sure that they don't outrank themselves for pages that are less appropriate than other pages that automatically rank, because they rank for everything. So they have to start thinking about ranking in the right order for the right pages.
Right. They want to rank for those things that they're really converting highly on.
Speaking of ranking, Amazon pages.
That's a whole other kettle of fish.
We will be back after these short messages. Rankazon.com is coming out, and we have a beta test out. Those of you who are in the Social Explosion chat room should be invited to our Rankazon. It's the same thing Social Explosion does, except it focuses on individual products. I wanted to make sure you guys, this is just a quick update that we're in the middle of beta, and that will help you rank on Google for your Amazon product pages. Just wanted to do a shameless plug there. It's coming out. I'm excited about it. I think y'all will be excited about it as well. Okay.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Exactly. And I'm back to it. I wanted to say, hey, Ryan, I wanted to apologize to you guys when I said that I hate Apple. I have people now giving me death threats on the chat here. So, yes, so I wanted to apologize and say that I was mostly just teasing. I don't sincerely hate Apple. It's just that I don't have one. So maybe I have Apple envy. It's entirely possible, Ryan. It's it's a cult thing. I just don't have one, and maybe I just really want one or something like that. The other thing is that I just don't really feel comfortable on them when I use them, but I'm sure that if somebody took me by the hand through them and showed me how the sheer power of the Apple brand, I would be all excited. Now, that being said, I do appreciate Apple when it comes to the way that we use it on our back end for our server stuff. I know Kelly and those guys really love it, so sorry. That's an apologist statement there for you. Okay, somebody else has said, hey, it's got to be better than Windows 8, Keith is saying. Okay, anyway, back to our scheduled program so we don't start a war here. Don't bring up religion, politics, and computer preferences. All right, so where were we, Sue? Actually, Sue, let's summarize everything that you've been saying. To summarize what you're saying here, and then I have a question for you and Jimmy that I hope I don't get in trouble with your whip for asking.
Okay.
But I'm willing to make occasional risks. Otherwise, what would life be? I would be a slave if I wasn't able to ask you questions. Okay, so to summarize all this, I hear you saying is that there is a time and a place for a drop-down menu. If you have a domain authority of 97 or greater, you can use drop-downs. Is that what I hear you saying?
No, what I'm saying.
I'm messing with you. I'm teasing you.
The question that you initially asked me was, how does silo structure affect usability?
Gotcha.
Usability. So when you're looking at visitor usability, that's one of the reasons that I go to Amazon, is because they're more interested in visitor usability than they are in ranking.
Yes.
Right? And so what I want to take a page out of their book. They don't overwhelm the user with options, and they stick to a theme.
Gotcha.
They do offer you at any point in time, you can hit that department, you can go anywhere, although 99.999% of the people use a search bar. But you can go to that top level, you can go to essentially, I don't want to call it a home page, but maybe the sitemap page.
Right.
And navigate from there.
Yes, I heard that they don't. Is this true, Sue? I heard or read somewhere with somebody less knowledgeable than you that they aren't even crawled anymore, that they have a feed relationship, some kind of exclusive feed relationship with Google. Do you know anything about that, or like some
You mean like a
data feed?
If I were Amazon, I would negotiate that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I thought it was maybe something you had mentioned or during a client meeting or something. Yeah. Okay. So I hear what you're saying then. You look for user interface and user integration. You like to look at Amazon's strategy because they obviously know how to get people to the products that sell and get them faster. And then, of course, we know they're the genius in side sells and upsells. I mean, they are if you guys haven't had the chance, there's a book that you probably want to consider reading. It's the 14 Leadership Rules of Amazon.com. It sounded really bad when I got the book on Audible, but ended up being really, really awesome because it's the evolution of the one-click buy button. And honestly, when I read it, it really scared the crap out of me in terms of usability and how important the one-click buy button upgrade, how much money that button makes per second for that site. And one thing as a marketer I'd like to just put out there is if you guys can lower the resistance to creating a sale with things like that, then by all means do so. Okay. Okay, here's the thing I'm going to ask you guys. I know everybody's holding their breath, like, what's Russell going to ask? This could be scary. Sue, like, here's our bookstore, the ThemeZoom bookstore, or the Network Empire bookstore. Jimmy, can you answer this one? It's got a 98 domain, and because I have a lot of links going to it, the bookstore is also a page authority of 47. And they do give you a single link ability. So I have Network Empire Digital Reports right here. Jimmy, can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
It's a no-follow link. Does it have any value as a no-follow link? I know the answer to that, but I want you to answer it.
Yeah, I mean, I would keep it. You can never go wrong with no follow.
Yeah, you can see it's no-follow links. I did not just give people that tip, did I? Because you can go in and get an A-Store affiliate account in like 75 seconds or less. Oh, okay. And next topic. All right, so let's get back to what we were talking about before. And David Key says he has both those books. That's awesome. Okay. Let's go to the next. Eric asked another question. Eric, you're asking good questions. I have my blog's RSS feed set up to publish to my Facebook and Twitter page. Okay. via Hootsuite, as you talked about in your video. I'm unclear if to get my Facebook and Twitter promoted in Social Explosion, I need to put my blog's main RSS feed. Wow, this is a complicated. My brain just turned to mush. My main RSS feed into one feed supercharger as external RSS link so that I can put that one RSS link into the one feed supercharger output. Wow. Let's make a song. The hand is connected to the arm bone. I'm just kidding, Eric. I'm not even going to answer this here. Let's answer it in Skype, unless somebody wants to tackle it. Because your one feed supercharger, Eric, your one feed supercharger. First of all, Social Explosion gets installed into the blog that you want to promote, and then just in the same way that you're promoting with Hootsuite, you know when you click the bookmarklet for Hootsuite, Eric, did you know that Hootsuite has a bookmarklet? Did you know that? Yes. Okay, that's what I use. I've got something like 100 Twitter accounts, my own personal high-maintained Twitter accounts and more in my own Hootsuite account. And I can just instantly publish to all of them using the bookmarklet. Oh, did I give that away too? You guys should know that, though. That's easy. Well, Social Explosion is even easier than that. You just install it in your blog, and it's going to do the equivalent of like 50,000 of those accounts, okay, of user accounts. Okay, so just think of that separately. When you're publishing to your blog post, that's going to automatically put that out. You know, Social Explosion is like this massive amounts of power of trust just coming from all of our own network. Okay, does that make sense? Now, when it comes to if you're trying to stack Facebook and Twitter promoted in social.
Can I translate?
Yeah, I think he's talking about publishing his own stuff to his own accounts through Social Explosion.
No, his.
I'd like to put him live, Sue, if that's possible.
Okay.
Eric, are you live? Can I put you live? Because I don't understand what you're asking. Sue thinks she understands what you're asking. She probably does. Eric, do you have a microphone? People are trying to push their Facebook pages through. Oh, he's saying, hang on, Eric. Let me just put you live. Give me a second here. I'm having some problem with Facebook promotions through RSS feed, so if that's what you're asking, I'm sure Sue has a good answer. Let me see here. Eric, there you are. We can hear you. Can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Eric. Let's get into this. I'm sorry for the befuddlement. I just can't follow everything on this question.
No worries. I just couldn't see a way to push my Facebook and Twitter through Social Explosion. I was following the videos just as you set them up in your video sequence.
Okay.
And just I connected only the Facebook and the Twitter through Hootsuite, and so I made it such as you described in your videos. When you post to your blog, the regular main blog RSS
Oh yes,
feed.
Gotcha. We do not offer Facebook as a social platform, a Social Explosion. Is that what you mean?
No.
Oh, okay.
Right, but I thought that there might be a way to push my Twitter and my Facebook out through Social Explosion via that Hootsuite initial mechanism that you guys described. And I could be missing something really easy or basic, but
Hootsuite is not related in any way, shape, or form to Social Explosion. It's an independent third-party platform. You know that, right?
I do, but
Okay.
I made sure that I'm just putting posts on my own blog, my own RSS.
Okay.
And then those would be pushed out to Facebook and Twitter. And
then you're taking your Facebook feed and trying to promote it through Social Explosion?
if possible.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to use Social Explosion backlinks to you're going to try to stack Facebook, essentially.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, I understood. Okay. Anybody have I've never tried that, Sue. I've answered some help desk tickets, but do you guys know anything about that? You having issues with it, Eric? Or?
Facebook has just recently updated everything.
Yeah.
And I noticed that over the weekend, Katarina put a new link inside of the certified advisors area about Facebook feeds, but I haven't had a chance to actually try it myself yet. So I don't know whether or not that's going to work.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't also looked at it. I have that on my list of things to check out. Now, were you using, how long have you been trying to do this, Eric?
Actually, I just got an updated token, so I actually haven't tried to use it yet. I was in the process of seeing how I would set it up, and I couldn't figure it out. So hence my question.
That you would either create. Here's one thing that I absolutely do know works. Assuming that the RSS, this is what Sue was saying, assuming that the RSS method that Facebook allows has not been deprecated. Like, YouTube has recently changed as well, by the way. Paula, I did see your question on that. We'll get into that later. One thing you can do is run it through Google's FeedBurner, and to make sure that it works, and then run it through. I would recommend that Facebook has been problematic. Run it through FeedBurner, and take the FeedBurner feed and then run it through soon you'll be able to run it through the Social Explosion dashboard. The other thing you can do is run it through the OneFeed supercharger if you want. Generally speaking, there are some problematic feeds out there that don't validate very well. Facebook's tends to be one that's kind of difficult, and that will probably solve your problem. So this is one thing we want you guys to know, is that when in doubt about a dubious RSS feed that may or may not be as clean, if you're having troubles with feeds other than, feeds that are not normally used or maybe a little less common, or for whatever reason, just go to FeedBurner. Have you tried that, Eric?
I have not, no.
Yeah, go ahead. If you're not having, again, this is aside from the fact that Facebook is changing their feeds, and I've actually had consistent difficulty with FeedBurner. Okay. Now, I do have in the list of RSS feeds, which I give out and is inside the Director's Cut area, I do have a Facebook RSS feed, and I'm hoping that still works, but it sounds like you're telling me that it's not working now. But I need to double check that.
I need to double check that too, and I guess I should have also mentioned that I was originally trying to put them into OneFeed Supercharger, so that funnel would all be. Wherever you have a difficulty, check it on OneFeed Supercharger. If it's working fine, then you're good. Second step is sometimes OneFeed Supercharger has difficulty with unusual feeds. Run it through FeedBurner to clean it up. Now, we are working on that, but just know that that is your final step. Is if you get a really weird, funky feed, which I personally think Facebook feeds are weird. Okay, they're just giving me trouble all over the place. Put them through FeedBurner and see if that works for you. Okay, I'll do that.
Ping me on Skype and let me know.
I will definitely.
So I can share that with the rest of the group. And let me just go RSS. I'm going to drop everybody the help file on that. And I will update the RSS feeds quick sheet for everybody. You guys know we have the RSS feeds quick sheet in our trusty handy dandy. This is the current Facebook. Let me see. From now on, I would like you guys to all email these services and tell them to stop changing their RSS feeds. Do you guys mind doing that? Because I'm getting really sick of it. Just kidding. So here's the RSS Facebook feed. Can I drop that in the chat room for you guys? I'll go ahead and put that in. Ready? Entire audience. Now, if this is changed, you guys and gals, I will update it with Katarina, Certified Advisors, new item. There's also a Find Your Facebook ID here thing that's pretty cool. Facebook is just changing way too much, and that's just how they roll. Okay. So let me know how that goes, will you?
I will.
And again, OneFeed Supercharger is being enhanced. We're in constant development with that. I appreciate your patience, and it's a very killer app, becoming more killer every day. All right, we'll move on to the next question then. Is that cool, Eric?
That's very cool. Thanks for bearing with my question.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. No, hit us up in the Skype room anytime.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks.
Bye. Okay. I forgot to ask Eric where he lives. I'm supposed to, because I got salmon the last time I asked. Let's see what we got going on. Oh, Eric, you had another question. I should have kept you on. Look at all you guys Skyping me. Phew, it's out of control. It's out of control. Okay, next question. How long would the effects of domain authority stacking, trust relative to my site take to show up? And should I see the results in the form of increased domain authority and or PI on my site via Moz or SEO Quake? I ask because I have one cluster deep completed for over a month now on a new low DA site and have yet to see any change in domain authority or page authority on my site. I'm assuming you're saying through the Moz toolbar. Am I understanding how to think about my results, or am I looking in the wrong place results? Great question. Somebody want to tackle that?
Well, basically, you're kind of at the mercy of whenever. Yeah, basically, you're kind of at the mercy of when Moz is going to update the metrics for that site. They do a lot better job for things that are ranking high up for keywords. They usually update that a lot quicker. You can force it. If you have a subscription with them, you can go in and create a project, and that'll force them to crawl it, so you can get those updated metrics quicker. But those are really the only two things that you could, that you rely on. But I usually will see rankings before I see any increase in my DA or PA typically. So
yeah, so you should see a blip on the screen in your rankings, and then you should see, depending upon, remember this service, you guys, is just an indicator, and they have to update. I remember sitting at the table with Rand in 2005 when he was just building this service, and everybody thought it was a crazy idea. Like, you must be insane to try to build a toolbar service that's going to do this. Remember that? This is way back in the day, SEO conference 2005 or something. And just remember that he's just got a bunch of machines there that got to crawl everything constantly. He's got his own spider. And David Hood says, "Who's laughing now?" And I'm saying, I don't really think that he makes, I don't know, man. I still don't know that I would want to run a service like that. But that's got to update. There's other things you can do. So Jimmy's saying you'll see a blip on the screen. You'll see an increase in rankings as you start pushing that domain authority. Okay, so this is an indicator, and definitely not the first indicator you should look for. But you should see this change over time. I certainly do when I'm using Social Explosion and other things like that. Okay, again, we can talk more about this in the Skype room. Anything to add to that, Sue?
Nope.
Okay. Patrick, again, there he is. That's the question he was talking about. We already talked to you about that, and Jimmy is running a crawl on that, I believe. You're welcome, Eric. Mike Broadwell, are you here? I would prefer to go on Mike to ask this. Yeah, I would prefer that you do as well. But that's okay. I'll read it a bit. Let's see. It has to do with siloing. Hi, Mike. Can I bring you on? I've got to find your doohickey. Hang on a second. Mike. Mike. Man, there's so many people. It's actually hard to find you guys. It's a huge webinar. There you are. Okay, I'm unmuting.
Hello?
Mike, can you hear us? I can hear you.
I can.
Excellent. Where are you calling from, Mike?
I'm in beautiful Tennessee, not too far from your hometown, right?
Oh, Franklin?
Yeah, I'm south of there. I'm near Huntsville, Alabama, but on the state line.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Have we met?
Yeah, at the OMG Live.
Oh, cool, man. Good. So let's get into this question. The reason okay, let me just read it and see if I understand it. Do I need to have menus on all my sites? The reason is that I'm putting together a site with a lot of content I'm selling as a package. So I would like the power of siloing to rank the pages, but don't want people to easily rabbit trail through all of it. So no menus will hurt usability on a menu review, but will it hurt the power of the links? Each page will lead people to opt into my evergreen event. Okay. So I like having all the content floating around for different keywords, but want to drive people to the opt-in. Jimmy, Sue, comments?
Well, if you have a silo and you've got no links, you're only going to get maybe 20% of the effect of the silo, because all you're really going to do is have those keywords in the URL string for each page. A lot of the power from the silo comes from the fact that you're establishing that theme on site and pages linking to each other. Like, a link is actually going to create some of the power that ranks a page. So that's why a huge site where pages link to each other is going to rank easier than a small site with just a handful of pages. So by not linking, you're going to make it harder to rank. You're going to make it harder to establish the themes on the pages. You're going to have to, basically the entire impetus for the rank has to come off-site instead of building power to your silo pages and then letting that power filter down to your smaller pages and rank everything, or vice versa. Links from the bottom float up as well. So it makes it harder.
What if you used a sitemap? See, would that not change anything you just said?
It still makes it harder because with a sitemap, you've got one page that links to everything.
Exactly. You're not crawling, you're not theming it at all, really.
No, you're not. There's no theming going on there, and unless everything links back to the silo page, then or back to the sitemap page, then you've essentially got a page that's got no juice that links to everything, and that's it.
Mike, what's your real concern? I'm not really, just from a marketing and website persuasion architecture and then protecting your link juice. Is this a concern that you're leaving a footprint, or you're going to be discovered what you're doing, or where's all this coming from? This idea that you want to pseudo silo or unsilo this thing?
Well, I want to silo it, but what I'm doing is I've got about 20-something hours of interviews that are unique content.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm selling is interviews with transcripts and with other stuff. So my thought was I'll just take all the stuff that's in the transcripts and put it on different pages in the silo. So it's basically all available online. And I was just wondering about, having that for content and having it on the silo. But that's what when I started thinking about it, I thought, well, yeah, maybe I have to have the actual links on the page for that to actually work. So it's not just a matter of the linking structure given the value, it's the actual links on page.
I'm not really understanding, because content is content, and that's completely unique content. I love transcripts. So what are you really confused about?
Well, I just didn't want it to be an obvious rabbit trail where you could just go through and read all the content for free, since I'm actually selling it to people. You see what I'm saying?
Then you need to actually lock it, because so long as it's out, somebody can do a Google search with site : and your domain name and have all your pages right there.
Yeah, yours is a marketing question, a technical TMO, technical marketing officer question. Okay, you need something called content locking, where you're half in and half out, where you use the first paragraph and then the rest is available.
I have that, but see, I don't really care. My audience are not internet marketers or web people. I don't really care if somebody's smart enough to figure out how to get to it.
Okay. Yeah.
I just don't want to lay it out on a silver platter.
Yeah, I agree. Well, here's the horrible and wonderful truth, which I hope that you guys know. You can give anywhere between 70 and 95% of all your content away, and people will still buy it. So why is that? Why is that? Now, it does depend on the market, and it does depend on how secret it is. For instance, if it's something like Jimmy and Sue's latest, SEO hack for a $1 trillion keyword with one link, to number one, that's probably something that is not the stuff you give away, right? But generally speaking, if you can give that much content away, you have to think about a couple of things. Why do people actually allow for that? Like, what is the reason that people want that? Okay, what is the reason that is possible? Is that people really want everything in one place. They want a nice little clean, functional place to put, where everything is. Okay, and so this is something that we covered really well in Kraken Crunchers about, 8 years ago. We actually did a summary and survey of, this is based on Kevin Kelly's work, The Next 5,000 Days of the Web. And in this, we actually talked about why people, this whole better than free, what does free attract? And in it, he put a very good case study, which we've used for years and proven financially, that here's the reasons where you can give stuff away, okay? One is findability. People just want to know where all that crap is. You know what I mean? If you're going to put it everywhere, all over the place to drive traffic with the keywords, which I actually agree with your method to do that, then they're going to buy the package just so they know where it all is, as long as it's all laid out carefully, right? Okay, interpretation. They want your interpretation on that. Also, they want it right now. A significant portion of your audience, unless your training is something like $90,000 or super expensive, they want everything all the time right now in a simple laid out format. The other thing is the authenticity that you're actually forming, okay, where you're actually guiding them and walking them through it. We've got huge amounts of content out there on the web, but when we're actually walking you through, like on our live certification events, and Matt and Jimmy and Sue are cracking the whip and we're taking you through your boot camp, either over the shoulder, where it's recorded and played again and again, or live, people really want that authenticity. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying, what you already know, is that you might want to consider the whole method because we don't know your actual case. But generally speaking,
I understand what you're saying, and that makes sense. I'm not that worried about it. I just thought about, well, if I can do it without having the menus, then great. But then it occurred to me that that may be a problem. So I definitely need the menus with the keywords, because I could create a silo without the menus, right? I mean, it just would be the pages. Or am I missing? But anyway, I know what you're saying. I can do it that way. And
yeah, when it comes to menus, since menus are used for user usability as well as we're using it to help you rank, so it's both for the human world and the technical world, you can't have your cake and eat it too, really. If all that content on all the levels is going to be content that they're also going to buy as part of the members area. I mean, you're going to have to, suppose you could do some fancy tricking, but I'll have to think about that one, Mike. I'll have to think about that one. But generally speaking, I agree with Sue that you've got to decide what you're going to do. I know what we would do is we just content lock half in, half out. Okay,
that's what I'm doing now. It's just my content locking is not working the way I want.
Okay, I've heard that a lot. People just forget it. No, fix it. Like, remember that radio show, The Rest of the Story?
Yeah.
Yeah, his ratings went through the roof because people are it's interesting but incomplete. And you can go to interestingbutincomplete.com as well, Mike, to look at my proprietary matrix of when something should and shouldn't be free that I created.
Okay.
I just gave that to you guys as a gift. That's generally for certification, folks. Just go to interestingbutincomplete.com and think about that stuff through because it's very, very important and will add an extra 0 to your bottom line. Thanks, Mike. And we'll continue to talk about this dialogue. I know what you're up against with that content lock thing.
I do have another question just after
Sure.
Paula here.
Sure.
Do you want to do it now? Or
yeah, absolutely. Though I don't have to unmute you and mute you again.
Now this is one you were saying earlier about if you do the structuring right on a site that it should rank with almost no content. But what I did with this one and I put the link in there.
With almost no content? No, I don't think we ever said that.
Well, something like. But anyway, this one does have content and it's themed. But my question was, I started doing this right at the end of the year just to learn how to play with the silo structure, and it almost immediately ranked #1 on Yahoo and Bing, but it's not doing anything still on Google. Now, I've kind of just let it sit there. I haven't been building a lot of links to it. But I'm almost wondering, I almost thought by default, since it's a local dentistry site, it would still rank like 50 or 60, and it just doesn't show up at all for anything on Google. And so I was wondering if maybe Jimmy or somebody could look at it and see if there's something obvious I'm missing here. Because it's not a national keyword in any way, and it, like I say, it ranked almost immediately. I didn't even know it was ranking on Bing until somebody in the group mentioned theirs ranking right quickly, so I figured that validates the linking structure.
Okay. That will have to be something. I think Jimmy's running somebody else right now, but I've got it on my list of possible things for us to do. That is kind of weird. I mean, what makes that puzzle interesting to me is the fact that it's doing well in the other search engines.
Yeah, and I've got YouTube videos on it. I've got links to authority sites on the pages, and I've got a decent amount of content on several pages, and pretty much followed the protocol.
I mean, there's no DA or PA at all.
It's not getting anything. It's been 6 months, and it's been sitting
there's
there,
no DA or PA on the site. That's not about the internal site structure. You've got there's no. I mean, if you're doing this thing where you just want to like only silo and then rank, on Google, I mean, it's going to be easier to do that on Bing, I think, and depending upon how you're doing it, but like at least as far as I can see right now. So this is something probably that we would need to look in deeper, and I think Jimmy's running someone else. So I'll keep it on the list of possible ones for us to go into. Okay. That's an interesting question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm taking notes on that. All right, you guys. Let me see what's going on here. How long are we in now? It's 2:20. Okay. We're good for some more questions. Here's your questions, Paula. Oh, I skipped your ones. Okay. I don't want her to hit me, so I'm going. She'll yell at me if I skip hers. Okay. Hang on a second. Let me mute Mike. Okay, Paula. Here we go. Do you have a workaround for the YouTube channel feeds? Not sure if individual videos are broken. However, the YouTube channel, yes, we do have workarounds, and it's on the YouTube page. So let me find it. Didn't I have the, I updated that page for your convenience. Now I've got way too many pages open. It's a good thing I have 4 screens. What did I do with the update? It's on that same update page I gave you guys. Let me just find it. I'm looking. There's something really funky monkey going on, Paula, with the RSS feeds. Kevin Polly brought it to our attention, and then I did an update and posted it to the wiki, and much to my dismay, the thing that I update only worked for a day, and then it broke again. So I fixed it. So this is going to be, I believe, the feed that works. Let me just confirm that real quick before I get in all kinds of trouble from you guys. Hang on. So again, if you guys wouldn't mind, just go ahead and write YouTube on my behalf and tell them to stop changing the damn feeds. Yeah, that's the one, Paula. You can see right here. Okay. In fact, I was working on this yesterday as we were troubleshooting the new Social Explosion dashboard, web-based dashboard, and it's working. We're still working on that, and here's the feed that you can use, Paula. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys that link. That is going to everybody. Everybody, there you go. Okay. You're welcome, Paula. Okay, Mike, you already answered you. This is, he's got no real backlinks to this and theming. We'll look at that later. Your multiple Twitter account strategy, are these accounts that appear are supposed to appear as independent, or are they tied to a money site for separate silos, or what? Answer is, it depends. Second question. I'm just messing with you, Paula. I could go on about Twitter, and this is one of those questions that we talked about at the beginning of the call where until I know what you're trying to accomplish, I cannot really answer it. It's also another question that I can say, use your common sense. How many Twitter accounts can you manage? And how are they managed? And what are you trying to do with them? Are you trying to automate them, tied to a single blog? I currently, Paula, have a one-to-one relationship. A single WR1, meaning your first layer, your money layer, your branded layer, Twitter account to one blog in general. Actually, that's kind of a lie. Normally, that's what I do, okay? Normally, I have one-to-one, just to keep it simple. When I use Hootsuite, when I use the Hootsuite bookmarklet, I can blast it out to other sites as well. But generally speaking, as a default mechanism, unless you're taking our advanced certification training, just one-to-one, okay? How's that for an answer? Okay. Paula, I'm just going to answer all your questions at once here. When you're on a site and look at the Moz bar and it shows thousands of links to that main domain, but you go to Open Site Explorer, this is definitely a question for Jimmy and Sue. Open Site Explorer, it only shows 3. What's up with that? Exactly. I think Jimmy's kind of already addressed that. My friend has a site that was hacked and I unhacked it and it locked it down, but seeing all these links, worried about what it means. The site is Oakland, okay. All right, I'm not going to look at the site because what you're really asking is about data. Making sure I still have my headset on. My headset audio is still working here. The question that Jimmy already addressed is pretty clear. It depends on who's parsed what first. For instance, the Moz bar could still show the data when you've disavowed it because it hasn't updated. That means that those little spider robots all sitting on Rand's really expensive server farm haven't crawled yet, servers, and they're not updated yet. That would be one reason. I'm just pulling ideas out here. It doesn't matter. I mean, just the data contradictions don't get us started. So who is right? Who would you default to? That's probably the best question we could ask Jimmy, what he defaults to, or Sue.
That's a good question. I don't. I usually will just take it from the horse's mouth whenever possible. So, I'll go into my Google Webmaster tool area and just pull the links that they have in there. Like, if there's anything fishy that I see going on or whatever, I pull from that first. Certainly if you see mass links being built all of a sudden, I just disavow the entire domain if it's not something that I'm doing. So, but it's hard to say like who's more correct with their data. Like, it really is just dependent on when those links get crawled from all these various services.
Exactly.
So I know Ahrefs picks it up pretty fast. They're probably one of the fastest I've seen. As far as like data, I like link research tools by Christopher Kemper. I just like a lot of the ways that he's kind of put a lot of metrics in together. Moz I like to use just to get a feel of the DA, like the domain authority of the sites, usually with competition and stuff like that. So they all have different uses. It just kind of depends on...
It depends, yeah.
It depends on the situation, like if you're worried about like negative SEO or if you're worried about, you just want true metrics.
Another thing that can happen, Paula, is that somebody could have a spider type blocker that blocks the bot from one of these services. And when that happens, you'll get extremely different results.
Yeah, that's true, because they could block one of them but not the other, and so that would...
Yeah, then you'd have this really strange effect. That's actually happened before on one of our sites where we were just blocking bots left and right for all these crawlers, specifically Moz, so that the competition wouldn't be looking at this particular scenario. And it gave completely different skewed results. I have a feeling you're probably facing something like that. Now, what Jimmy said here is really interesting to me. Going directly from the horse's mouth, if you're using Google Webmaster Tools, has actually proven to be pretty useful for me as of late in sites where you actually have them. Okay. Paul is saying the site is over 15 years old, but is a local site for horseback riding. They don't have a webmaster account, and yeah, probably it's not going to hurt. Like, you're not going to have the big guns from the credit and car insurance industry coming down at you. It's just, ma and pa kind of stuff. Just put a Google Webmaster thing in there. Would you agree, Jimmy? It's probably just... Yeah, I think he would agree.
Yeah, I always get Google Webmaster Tools going on my money sites because I don't want to be kept in the dark if something happens.
Yeah.
If they can't access your site, they email you. If you get unnatural links, they email you. Like, I don't want to be kept in the dark from those metrics if something bad does happen, because once it happens and you go and you verify that tool, like, it starts from that date. Like, it's not going to backtrack to before all those before that thing happens. So
right, and they'll have all those metrics, is what you're saying, over time. Obviously, she won't be able to get all the data back from Google since 2005, but you've got that in there. Okay, so it's not going to be able to go into the past, Paula, and look for your history, but you can start from the beginning and start getting a good thing. And another thing I would say is that I have heard some paranoia in the OMG Director's Cut community about using Google Webmaster Tools. I think most of the time, in most cases, again, I'm not being fundamentalist here, I'm just saying that in most of the cases that you guys are worrying about it are cases that it's kind of the opposite. Like, you kind of want, in other words, there's some kind of belief that there's an evil conspiracy with Google Webmaster Tools. In fact, I've had instances where it's been the opposite. I feel like having it can actually cloak in some ways, like it's the whole, hidden in plain view kind of thing. So for the most part, like, guys, don't freak out or worry or, about using Google Webmaster Tools. Use it for the data. And then, as Jimmy and Sue have taught me, use that data to manipulate your scenarios more effectively and safely. Okay. Anything to add to that, Jimmy?
I'd just say that I always do it anytime it's a money site. I just get that put in there.
There you go. That's the word. Word up. Okay. Who's next? Nobody. Thank you. Good night. Click. Just kidding. All right. What else we got? David Keys, because you have these big giant black stars next to your name inside the go-to webinar questions window, I can tell that you've been asking a lot of questions. You're just chomping at the bit to ask a question live. So are you still here? I'm going to put David Keys on live. If I can find him. Where are you, David? Ryan is saying, how does he do that amazingly awesome, obnoxious go-to webinar name? I'm actually not going to tell anybody, because if everybody started doing it, then again, it would not be effective. Kind of like search engine tricks. Okay, let me see here. What do we got going on? Are you around, David Keys? You gonna ask a question? We'll do one or two more questions, and then we'll probably wrap it up for today. Oh, you figured it out? No, you're good. Okay. David Keys, I'm looking for you. You have a choice of one or two of your questions, probably one. Oh, I think he left. He missed out. Okay, we'll move to somebody else. Oh, there you are. You're here. You know why I can't find it? Because you're always at the top. That might work to your disadvantage. That might work to your disadvantage.
That's another reason he does the star thing, so it's not put in alphabetical order.
Gotcha. Pick me, pick me. It's like a digital pick me. All right, here you go. Can you hear Dave? I can't hear you.
Hear me.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good. You can hear me now, right?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Why don't you pick a couple of these, because you've got a few things that you brought up in the window. What's your most pressing and interesting and/or topic?
Well, let's try to make it one that's useful to everybody and
Sure.
kind of relate to some of the other ones. So
Okay.
I have a site. You can show it or not show it. I don't care. It's got so many links from things that are not me that it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I have a site that it's kind of siloed. I can't really change that.
What's the site domain?
JeffRealty.com. JEFFREALTY.com.
Okay.
And this is typical of real estate, that it has a community area that they target, and then within that area there are sub-communities, and then in this particular one there are communities under that, which translated means that you've got Palm Beach Gardens in Jupiter, Florida, and West Palm Beach, and within there you have...
Can you please send me the link so everybody can see it?
Yeah, here you go. There you go.
Oh, that one. Okay.
And then below that, you have these gated communities. It might be, a golf course community developed by certain people and just whatever. But there are about 1,200 of these on the site, and he wants to expand them. He and I have worked together for 5 years now. So he just asked me, are we going to build links to all of the communities? Because I had mentioned maybe doing that. But now I'm rethinking that strategy. So here's the question. Like, here you're looking at the site, and in the site you can click on Find a Community, which is where the breakdown starts. Next one over. Search Communities. And so on the left you have these main community areas. If you click one, like Admiral's Cove, for example, within that there are these sub-communities on the right side. So if you scroll down you should see a list of, here's all the sub-communities within Admiral's Cove.
Okay.
And so there are lots of these. And so my question is, when you tackle something like this, where do you go as far as building domain authority stacks to it, linking? Like, should you link to every community here? Because that would obviously create a mountain of work of creating blog posts or whatever that you're creating in content for each of those. Or do you link to the main community names? Is there a strategy that you would pursue if you had this to deal with? And so that kind of, and then my other question was just relating to the difference between power from like PageRank and PBNs or the like, and trust, and how that functions, and if you need that power, or does the trust come inherently with its own power eventually? That might segue into this particular question here, or might not.
So, like on sites like these where you have a ton of communities, there's not really any, most of it all is the same service, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So it's not really a distinction of service. So in that case, I can't break it out by, this service, that service, and then city, city, city. So sometimes on these types of sites where it's all the same thing, I've broken it out into regions. So like I'll do like Northwest and Southwest, and I'll group it by like the country designations, and then I'll create the pages under there, and all of these different groups will go into that.
Well, I can't really change what they've done here. The website is not my product. So I can't change much on the website. I have to do whatever I'm going to do. I have to try to do it externally.
Okay, so you have no on-site access.
I have access, but I can't change the
structure. Yeah.
Site.
So that'd be intense, very intense for a site this large.
And are they wanting to rank the communities more, or the
Yeah, they want everything in there. They go to a listing appointment and they pop open a laptop and say, look where we rank in Google for Harbor Isles homes, and the client goes, oh wow, I guess I'll hire you to list the home. I mean, there could be no search for a particular sub-community, but it still impresses the client, so they want to show up, but everybody in that area wants that same result. They're all playing the same game, and you have 5 or 6 big players, maybe more, and they're all playing that. So they're all fighting for that ranking. And
is the drop-down its own page up there?
Which one, Jimmy?
If you click on Find a Community, will that take you to?
Yeah, that'll take you to communities.
Yeah, we're right here on that page now, Jimmy.
Okay.
But he's got no silo structure set up. It goes from communities and then takes you to unique pages for
the
each one.
URL structure is completely flat. Like
Yeah,
if you
it's
pick
real flat.
one of these and then you've picked a sub-community, it just pops over to whichever
it's flat.
sub-community name. That's brutal.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much choice in here other than to hit the home page and the community pages themselves, unfortunately. Like, I wouldn't go in and do all the individual areas of the communities just because your juice flow will come from these, the ones that house all of them.
Yeah.
And it'll rank all those smaller ones on its own. So the trick with this one, like click on one of those communities, Russ. I just want to see the URL structure.
Okay. Admiral's Cove up here.
And then go down and click on one of the sub-communities of it real quick.
Okay, like down here?
Yeah.
Subdivisions. Okay, we'll go to estate homes, and it changes.
And then you'll see that it just is its own URL. That sucks.
But it does link.
Really
It does link back up here to that page, but so it'll send you back to Admiral's Cove Flatland, but it won't stack that URL.
So what we need to do is have the reverse.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the opposite it should be. Just tell them the client that. It'll make them real happy. Everything is the exact opposite of what it should be.
You know what I did? I built another website with a silo. I used the silo builder, and I targeted West Palm Beach, which is a tough one. And that thing, after 3 months and 2 links, is already giving this site a run for its money.
Excellent.
I did that just to point it out to the client. Hey, look, part of this problem is you. It's not me, it's you.
Because the other problem is because they don't have any parent-child designations going on.
Yeah.
Like this is the same thing as a directory. It's not pointing. So unless you go in and put that internal silo structure or the internal links between each other to define what it is, like it's all up for game as to. So you could send links to Admiral's Cove, and then you could send links to those other sub-communities, and really it could pick any one of those pages to rank, and it might not be the one that you're really wanting to rank for.
And I've seen that effect oftentimes with this client.
And then what most people do at that point is like, well, let's do more links. And then at that point, then they get slapped.
Yeah, you'll remember I came to you with this same site back at Live, and I backed off on a lot of the links and de-optimized the page, and it moved up to position 2. So.
Well, there you go. That's awesome.
We've been there with that over-optimization, but he didn't get it. He's just like, you need more links on this to make these things move up, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah, you're like, no. Really, truly, what you could do is just tell them, like in situations like this, just redoing the structure on the site is
everything.
You know, it'll move it up without having to build links, and
Yeah.
you know, I think that's just the other side of the coin they need to consider.
Yeah, he's been pushing and prodding his developer to change things for over a year now, and it just hasn't happened.
Yeah, you're in that type of situation, and it really does get. You have the decision to be able to just move on with the idea and just do the best you can off site.
Yeah.
Or, you know, fire the client or keep the client and do other things for him. I've been in that scenario. I really personally shy away from too much of that. You know, if they're in a situation where their expectations aren't matching what I can really do, the cost of you know, that often, you know, unless I go to Jimmy and he's like, I mean, he can push most anything, but sometimes Jimmy will just say like, you know, this is going to cost a lot. Yeah, you know, or you know, you could push it without the rankings, but it costs so much to do that, like it's not even worth it, you know. So
yeah, it's the decision of let's spend the time on the developers to redo the layout, or let's dump that money into links. And you know, anytime you just start going into more links, like lately, what I've been doing is with the link building is I'll just get it up to the metrics that I want. And then I start going to the on-site stuff. So, like, you know, what other support pages could I create to help funnel more internal link juice? Or let's start manipulating the bounce rate. Or let's start manipulating, you know, social signals or whatever it is. Lately, I've been getting the metrics that I want, and then I turn to the engagement rank factors at that point, and it's been doing just fine.
He is doing that, by the way, so he's actually making right moves. He hired somebody to do stuff with social.
Yeah, I mean, also the site is pretty engaging. So Jimmy was just speaking to engagement rank. Like, this is all engagement rank, you know, where you got sticky things with people hanging around and doing things. So it's a good looking site, you know.
Yeah, you can see why he doesn't want to just walk away and build a WordPress site or something.
No, yeah, I mean, you can translate all that, but you know, again, it's going to be a little slower probably depending upon how you do it. But okay, well, that's pretty awesome, Dave. Thanks for sharing that with us. I think we have a lot of people giving some response to this. They enjoyed seeing this. So I appreciate you sharing it.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, like I said, there's so much linking to it. I mean, he's got Tiger Woods' new house that he did some blogs on back in
nice.
2010, and that made an explosion when it went out on like the social and the news sites and all that.
You bet.
Yeah.
Okay.
That moved him up overnight. A lot of stuff moved up.
Oh yeah.
That was insane.
What were you going to say, Jimmy?
I was going to say, like, you know, if I would just look at your DA, like, I don't know what some of the keywords are going after is on that, but if your DA's in check, then again, I pull away from links at that point. I've got his DA moved up. You know, it was in the 30s, and it's at 40 now. So. Yeah, so if that's all you need for most of those keywords, then I would just, you know, I'd hammer the structure of the site and then start manipulating bounce rate. Yeah.
There is something that Bruce Clay used to talk about called virtual siloing. And there are some.
Yeah, I've read that.
Yeah, and there are some, you know, he was big on that. I don't know how that's working now, and by judging by Jimmy's reaction to the URL structure, you know, there are some aspects that, from what I remember, appear to be virtual linking here. And in other words, at least he does have a big H2 link, or is it H3, Jimmy? I can't remember, up to, but it's still not. The reason I bring this up is because Terry is asking, what is the difference between the URL structure, the way the site is set up now? Well, in a regular silo structure, Terry, it would be you'd find a community, and you can see when I click search communities, it takes you to the URL community up here. Well, in a better world, we would see communities remain there, right, Jimmy? And then go to
yeah, you would have Abacoa, and then those sub communities would go underneath Abacoa, but what it's doing is
it's just
moving it right under the domain. And
it's
so
bad as a pancake. That's bad.
Yeah. What that does is create competition on your own site for what Google's going to rank. And typically, what I've seen through time with that is none of your pages rank well. Like you might have one or two, but then sometimes those aren't even the ones you want to rank.
Terry, are you following that? Terry's the one who asked that question. Terry, can you see the community here? Right, and then you hit it should just branch out into a new folder here. This is the essence of URL silo structuring. Okay, he sees it. So that would be there, and then Again, you'd follow all of Jimmy and Sue's instructions on Aware optimization, which we cover like forever in all of our trainings. Make sure that you don't, like if Realty was in it like 16,000 times, you would want to follow Jimmy's instructions on how to set up your directory. Okay, good. So I think he got that. Okay, great. Let's see. Oh, let's just change the topic. Dave, I'll leave you kind of unplugged for a second so I don't have to find you there. No, actually, I'm going to mute you now. Thanks, man. Is there anything else?
No, I'll mute myself. And
hey, I appreciate that, and keep on keeping on, and we'll keep bringing you on the calls. I think you're
thanks, guys.
sharing sites is super valuable, so thanks for doing that.
Hey, if he's going to talk to me about this, maybe you could PM me a number. Like he's always asked me, hey, could you get those guys to work on it? I'm like, I don't think you're going to want to pay the amount of money it'll take.
Yeah, I don't think that. No, thank you.
Shoot me over a number that I can throw at him and say, because he won't do it.
No, neither will we.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just one you wouldn't take on. It's too much trouble, right?
Yeah, it's probably educational for everybody. The answer is why work with something. Think about it when in somebody coming to you and saying, okay, I want my house to be a full solar home. Okay, and I want it to have this, and this. I want all the walls to be, they want a particular type of model and design that's untenable for the way it was created in 1956.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you do when they come to you with this mindset that all you're doing is some basic sheetrock repair when you actually have to bulldoze the house and start over?
Yeah.
Like it's just not like throwing a number for a bid at that doesn't make any sense because it's not a bid.
Yeah, you have to walk away.
It's not a bid. It's a project, not a bid. And what we should really be asked is how much would you charge us to build a completely new website that has similar or better content?
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on this, but completely structured.
Yeah. I mean,
like that would be a new site.
Yeah.
With a move attached to it.
With a move. So Jimmy takes it one step further. Not only do we need to demolish the house and build it, we need to put it on a new property and move the foundation to another, state.
Because that's the other thing is think of all the 301s that would generate. So even if you just took this and said, I'm only going to fix your silo structure, think of how many 301s you're going to have with all these different communities and sub-communities.
Yeah.
That's a big task. I've had friends come to me before and say, oh man, I took on this project and they have literally 20,000 URLs. It's like, why the crap did you take on the project?
Yeah, it's like, because people are treating it, agencies and individuals are still treating it. They're not thinking clearly about it. They're also treating it as a new sheetrock job. It's like that television show where they're breaking down the houses and giving, repairs and stuff like that. This is a complete rebuild. And when you approach it as if it's just a cleanup or a makeover or pimp my ride kind of thing, rather than just an entirely new car, it confuses.
This is like, we need to take down this wall, but it's got a structural beam in it, so we need to go hire a structural engineer to do the calculations while we hold up the wall and then put everything back.
Yeah, no, we need to go back to the manufacturers and invent an entirely different kind of sheetrock and import it from China.
We need a 5 kiloton nuke.
Yeah, so I mean that's why when you come at it from a bid light perspective, somebody who would bid this out, that actually is evidence of their lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
Because, it's like the...
Well, 5 years ago, I had a lack of knowledge, and I fell right into it.
Well, but now you know. I mean, the fact that you were smart enough not to do it. I mean, if you're looking at, you're getting that one of those Dr. Evil cases where it's like 1 billion, when you say $1 million and they're laughing at you, that would be this case. It would be a couple $100,000 or I should say. Yeah, something not worth it for him.
Yeah, I know that. I did the math before the call. I'm like, wait a minute, this would be like... If he wanted a link to every URL in a month, I'd have to work. I think it came out to like 25 hours a day, spending 15 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we'd have to have a special office for him over here at Network Empire Labs. Okay, it's not going to happen. I mean, but there are.
Yeah, this kind of thing. I'll only do I'll tell him we'll do it on a new site.
Yeah. I mean, I was probably.
We'll move the database.
Exactly. I was probably.
That's still a lot of work.
I was probably a bit high on that bid. I'm sure Sue is going to correct me, but I'm just that's how much I don't want to do it. So
I've seriously been thinking about telling him, hey, look, if you've got to quit on me, I understand, but this has hit its limit. Like we need to think of another strategy.
Yeah. Sue, do you have any comments comments?
I have a lot of comments.
Okay.
So my first one is just the route you were going down. Never be afraid to fire a client. There are some things that you cannot pay me enough to do. And there are some clients that are simply so hard-headed about what they want that, you just save yourself time and effort and add years to your life and walk away.
Yeah.
And I've even gotten into a few situations because they were friends, right? So I took them on, and man, I just 6 months later, I could not run fast enough away from that job.
Run away!
So, and Jimmy will tell you this because we just had a discussion about taking on a client. He's got a very strict set of rules. You must do this, you must do this, you must do this. I must have control of this, this, and this. And if that's not the case, there's not a deal.
Toast!
Oh, yeah.
You're fired!
The people I bring on now have a much different scenario than this guy did.
Yeah, which is good.
Control is a part of it.
Yeah, and I'm aware that you know this, Dave. This is really more for the audience because we've talked about this.
Everybody else wants to.
Yeah,
so,
it's useful.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing to avoid right here. Actually, it is.
Well, again, this is not. I want to make sure that you guys are clear on the call. In no way am I on a pedestal here and suggesting that this is good stuff. I was mentored by Sue through a process of a really, really large Magento site with over 5,000 products. This is a few years back, and it was really, really big. I mean, she was doing most of the things, and we actually went through this process with it. And part of the reason that we had even accepted it is because it looked like there was some ways for us to deal with the silo structure and this and that. And so, it was still a challenging, even though, I will say, it was more of a nightmare. But so I guess what I'm saying is that we have all been there where, and I just want everybody listening to know that you try stuff. And what we're trying to do here is save you time because, you may know exactly what to do, and 10 or 20 grand might seem like a lot of money to you. And I hope that it doesn't when it comes to a project like this. You're looking at, a lot of, in fact, there are projects that people have thrown at Sue, and I know at Jimmy as well, that are in the realms of several $1,000s a month.
Here's hundreds of thousands.
Mm-hmm. Here's 200. I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to mention any names or specific to you guys, but recently we have a client with, it's like $100,000 a month. Okay. The rebuild would have been so intense that when we looked at the IT debt that we incurred on building that, there's a reason why opportunities are better than improvement offers. Opportunity offers start over because, with opportunities, at least you can start over. This is also true, by the way, for creating an offer and sculpting your marketing. So just remember that, you guys. I don't need to beat this to death, and I hope that this has been very helpful. I would also like to thank Michael. Michael, I can't pronounce your last name. He's actually chimed in here to be sure. He wants Jimmy and Sue to read the patent number 8,244,722 on ranking documents in regards to Google Webmaster Tools. And I will go ahead and share that in my patents document, and I'll toss it over Jimmy's way, Mike. And I would also like to know more specifically about what you're referring to when you say that something happened for you with that. So just go ahead and let me know what you mean by that. That being said, we have been on pretty full on for 2 hours. And I'm going to close this thing up, of course, pending Sue Bell and Jimmy having any wrap-up comments. I'm trying to think of what I
have Patrick's stuff done, but I figure we can run that next week.
Let's see, you want to run it before we go, or would you rather run it next week?
Probably run it next week. I'm feeling low on energy.
Yeah, here's the thing: is we all, Patrick, I am sorry that we actually need to go ahead and give this to you next week. Please bump me and remind me. And Patrick is also saying that you fired an $80,000 client on the phone, and he called the next day like a whipped puppy dog and submitted to all your demands. Yes, that happens. Sue Bell also made a comment, which I will not repeat.
Well, I'll say something too. Dave's kept him at number 2 for some of these keywords, or kept him in good grace. Like typically, and a lot of times when I've said "see you later," it's not worth my time or effort. Usually what happened, they'll go find another SEO company. They get a taste for that. When they come back, then they're willing to, yield to your terms.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
and also you already have their trust because they had that experience with that other SEO one. So now they're
oh
like,
yeah,
oh man, we got to get Dave back on board. So
exactly. And that was awesome. And I would also like to close with some. Paula's like, Paula, none of your questions are just kidding. Quick, yeah. Yeah, Patrick, exactly how much salmon are you sending, Jimmy? That's what I want to know. Just kidding. Oh, by the way, for those of you guys in this call, this is a true thing, and I know that Sue might get a little bit mad, but sending us, specifically Sue, all kinds of specifically gourmet chocolate, a variety of kinds, and or coffee to either one of those, and be careful because they now live in the same community in Texas, does get you kudos. Does get you kudos. Not huge amounts of kudos, like don't expect us to rank, to rank for $1 billion keyword just because you send chocolate, but she is susceptible to the whims of chocolate. Okay, Patrick's saying he roasts his own coffee. So here's a couple things that I want to talk to you guys
the
about.
whims of bribery.
The whims of you can send me Tesla coils. I like very strange and bizarre electronic devices. If you want to flatter me, those are the kinds of things that I'm interested in. Okay, I'm just messing with you guys, totally, sorta.
And I would like a Tesla coil wrapped in chocolate.
Now that would be interesting. Why don't we market Tesla chocolate bars? Hi, BK. BK saying, do you want anything sent from China? No, but BK, it is really, I'm sorry I dropped off to sleep last night after our conversation. That was great. However, it is good to know that we have a contact in China for a variety of different reasons. And I'm also glad that you're finding our material very, very useless. And I like what you said on Skype from behind the red firewall. It's kind of cloak and dagger to be talking to somebody over there. That's great. And so, yeah, stay in touch with that. And maybe your contacts in the, who knows, the Amazon product arbitrage market might be useful at some point. One thing I do want to close with is I want to keep you guys up to date, just so I don't have to answer the 76 questions on Skype per hour that are coming in about the sellreportsfirst.com launch with Mike Clay. You are going to need to have the Pro Bundle or above to have access to that in the members area, okay? Because you really can't do the steps that Mike is talking about. Remember, you guys do get a special price on that. We are not launching until another 2 days or so. Actually, I think Sue might kick up that launch because we're in the process of moving our networks. Actually, what's that?
Live.
Oh, it's live. Never mind. I'm not. See, every time I make a countdown timer, and I think I'm really like being markety, she just blocks me.
There's a difference between live and launch, because if we had launched, then it would have been messy.
Why aren't I in that picture?
Because you are actually. Hang on, you're.
We're asleep.
No, you had slept in constantly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I won't mention the reasons why you slept in. Okay. So.
It had nothing to do with you.
Nothing whatsoever. No. Okay. So here's the thing, guys. That the Pro Bundle, you have a discount in order to get our team of course creators paid. We've actually built into the price, and so I just felt like it's safe to tell you that's the reason why the price went up. I want to give you an actual reason because it's included now with Network Empire. So when you have your access, I just want you to be aware. Those of you who are going to do the sell reports first, you need to be fairly serious. If you're a brand new beginner, meaning brand new online, I would caution you. However, if you were to enter into the field of making money up front, this is going to be one of the best courses ever. And that course will only be contained within the Pro Network Empire bundle. And as you will see, this is not merely some kind of random upsell. This is actually literally, you have to have the data in the way that Mike uses it effectively. The enterprise version is even better because it has Kraken, and Mike sells his higher reports from Kraken. But I wanted you to be aware you don't need the sell reports now thing to be successful with our members area. These other areas are just fine if you're just kicking the tires and trying stuff and learning our methods. But just want you to be aware that this is your coupon code. Do not pay the full $247. When you go in, you want to drop your price down to $197. This has just been tested. I know several of you bumped me. It works just fine. You're just going to put your coupon code. Now, I would ask that you please do not share this page with anyone because it's for you. and I really am trying to not make it, out there in internet land. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Michael, I'm going to read everything that you have here. You've got me interested. Michael, can you do me a favor and copy and paste that entire comment? I'm talking Michael Reichelt, I think. Can you copy and paste that to me and ping me privately on Skype with that so I can look at that? I want to pass that on to our technology team. Hey guys, we always enjoy hanging out with you, and you guys, I learn tons from you on different things, and you guys drop links and we like to review them. So Michael, just do that for me. I'd really, really appreciate it. Sue, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
I think we all need coffee. I can tell Jimmy's fading. It's dinner time for many of us. You guys are fantastic. Thank you, Patrick. We love you too, especially when you send salmon. It's been great. I want to give a special thanks to Dave Keys. He was very, very good at positioning questions and walking through his own client experience. This is how we get to.
Thank you, guys. That was very valuable.
Thank you, Dave. And we look forward to seeing everybody on the inside of the Cell Reports now, and we look forward to seeing you on the Director's Cut project breakthrough area as we continue to update that area with the webinars that we're adding. I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the can and send it off to Dave Mills and the rest of the team, and we're going to get this up for you. It should be there in about 24 to 48 hours. Look forward to seeing you inside our various training courses. See you on Skype, and I'll be adding each and every one of you. It looks like about 36 people right now to the Network Empire Director's Cut Genetic Hybrid course. Skype room. All right, you guys, catch you on the inside. Thanks.
Thanks so much, guys.